Next machine we're going to look at is the HipX machine. This is a standard hip training machine, 4-way hip, that's sometimes called, to get all 4 aspects of the hip strengthened. Okay, initially, 2 different adjustments to make, actually 3, with the hip machine. One is going to be the platform. This is going to be adjusted based on the height of your athletes or your individuals. You've got some smaller, younger kids, it can be adjusted higher. Taller, older kids can be adjusted lower. Second part is going to be the pad based on the length of the femur and or the lower leg. Okay, we're going to adjust this part just above the kneecap. Third part is going to be the dial, how much range of motion that we can utilize with each individual. Okay, and that basically entitles just pulling it out. We have a nice little easy axis arm of rotation to determine range of motion. So we're going to get Dylan to come up on here first. Now initially he's going to face me. What I'll do to set real quick here is just to find the hips, the top of the pelvis, okay? And what we want to do is where that hip rotates, we want to line that up with the axis of rotation on the hip machine. Dylan's in a pretty good position right here. We're set. Next part, we're going to line up the pad. Dylan will back up just a hair for me. Again, like I mentioned, we're going to position the pad so it's just above the knee. We don't want it on the knee or below the knee, but just above the knee, okay? Last part, we're going to adjust the dial here with basically an average range of motion for the first drill we're going to do, which is hip flexion, okay? Dylan's going to go ahead and face this direction, okay? He's going to push the pad down with the right hand, put the right leg right behind it. Now initially, when your individuals get on this machine, we want to line them up just like they're in a true anatomical or functional position where the shoulders, hip, knee, and ankle are all in a straight line, okay? Dylan's going to stay slightly on the ball of the foot with the left leg. He's going to perform hip flexion. Weight's going to go back with the right leg, driving it forward, okay? We're going to do about 5 reps here, Dylan. Good, nice and solid. The key is to maintaining posture, no momentum. It's easy to get the leg swinging. We want to maintain a nice controlled motion so we isolate that hip flexor, one of the main muscles in running forward fast. Isolate that hip flexor during this motion, okay? One more, Dylan. Perfect, good, that's hip flexion. We're going to let the weight up. Dylan's going to turn and face the other direction now. We're going to do hip extension. Left leg's going to go over the top, okay? Again, he's going to gather it down to the floor. So we have plenty of space. Bring that leg right down to the floor, Dylan. Standing right there. So our posture can be checked again. Shoulder, hip, knee, ankle. Okay, first motion is going to be forward. Then we're going to drive the leg back into extension. Go ahead, Dylan. Key on this one here too. We're going to keep that foot dorsiflexed. Drive it back. Soon as he passes the midline or passes the other leg, he'll go into straight extension with that leg. So as he comes back here, he's bent, now he's straight. Just like the running motion, as we push off, our leg becomes straight. One more, Dylan. Good, and that's hip extension. Let her up easy. The next 2 that aren't utilized that often in a weight training environment are hip abduction and adduction. Okay, we're going to do abduction first. Dylan's going to face this direction, face the machine. Left leg's going to go on the outside of the pad. He'll gather down to the middle again. Okay, he'll situate that right leg slightly back and on the ball of the foot. Okay, so bring the right leg back, Dylan, ball of the foot. Now the left leg will come across the midline just slightly, and then he'll push it to the outside. Keep the leg as straight as he can, Dylan, and foot dorsiflexed. Toe up, good. Perfect. Now we can stimulate the frontal plane of the body. We do so many things laterally, and we don't get to target those muscles that frequently for those types of movements. One more, Dylan. Perfect. That's hip abduction. Okay, he'll let it up. We'll keep the dial in that position. The right leg now will go to the outside of the pad. Bring the leg down to that position just so we can gather. Check in posture, foot's back slightly and on the toe. We'll straighten that right leg, okay, with the toe dorsiflexed. We'll go to the outside first for a little stretch in those adductors. Bring it down just to the midline. To the outside, squeeze it down right to the midline. Again, working the muscles of the inside of the thigh. Inside and outside, like I mentioned, don't get stimulated that often with so many of the drills we do in the weight training environment. Squats, deadlifts, power cleans, etc. Now we can target the muscles of the inside and outside of the hip. You can let her up easy, Dylan. The hip machine also comes with variable resistance. So now we can add that little extra load to all those motions that you saw. Dylan's going to go ahead and hook in one of the cords there, just right on the clip on the top, Dylan. Just so you can see what the variable load looks like in motion. Okay, come on up, Dylan. We'll go flexion facing this way, okay? Hip flexion facing this way, okay? Dylan's going to go to the top. Just a quick hip flexion here. You can see the stretch on the cord as he goes back. It's going to get a little lighter, like we talked about before with all the resistance or variable resistance we do on the squat rack. At the easiest part, we're going to have the most cord-loaded resistance. Okay? Perfect. Good, Dylan. Let her up. And that's the hip X machine.